Greetings, YouTube. The other day I was having a shower thought, no, not that kind, and I was playing with the idea of a magic item that did the same thing the shower does, got you clean. So I thought about it for a second. Like, what the perfect thing would be, I think, would be something ubiquitous, and so that other people wouldn't know you had it on you, both for security reasons because you don't want it stolen, um, and because it would be there, and no one would question the fact that it was there. So I thought, what would be the perfect thing to have on your person that it's going to be kind of blend in with the with other things? And I thought, well, how about a coin? So I imagined a 1 ounce silver coin that's always shiny. Okay, so that right there might set them off. But I coins can be shiny sometimes. And you can activate it once per hour, and it casts a very specific type of cantrip, essentially. And bingo, you're clean. Your clothing, your skin, you are clean. Even your teeth are clean. Okay, boom, you're clean. And again, once per hour, that's all it does. That's not very powerful. A magic item in my book, perfectly and utterly acceptable. And then I thought for a second, like, well, that's an ounce. Okay, so how many coins is that? Now, for the longest time, I have been working with the mental construct in my head that there are 50 coins per ounce. Sorry, I have an itch. 50 coins per ounce in, 50 points per pound, rather, in a fantasy setting like D&D or Pathfinder. And I don't remember where I got that number. I'm thinking it was actually canon at one point, though I don't know what edition that was in. Um, so my brain is like, okay, it's an ounce, and so now I need to figure out, 16 ounces in a pound, and that converts to, and that's when I stopped. And I'm like, well, that doesn't work out as a nice, easy, convenient, fast division, now is it? I'm not good at math at the best of times, um, and I'm like, well, that's kind of a bummer, because in the real world, particularly in a Middle Ages type setting, people didn't do complex division like that. And maybe admittedly it's not complex, but they tended to work in things like dozens and scores and things like that. Um, and even base 10 would have been kind of a little bit unusual for them. They would tend to think of things in like dozens and stuff. So I thought, okay, well, they're comfortable with 16. It's 16 ounces in a pound, and if you take 16 times 3, that's 48, and 48's really close to 50, and it means that a 1 ounce coin is worth 3 silver pieces. Bingo, done. I mean, obviously, a magic coin's worth a hell of a lot more, but just an ordinary large silver coin. So I go, okay, now what's that work out to? So I played around a little bit, and um, a real-world silver quarter, which was available between 1932 and 1964, was a little over 6 grams, and a third of an ounce is a little over 9 grams. So that means that a fantasy coin, a silver coin, would be a little bit larger than a quarter, not by, maybe a little thicker. Imagine about the same size, roughly, but a little thicker. And a gold coin, we're going to use the same numbers because it's just convenient, is going to be much smaller. That's going to be much more like a farthing size, really, but of course worth a hell of a lot more. Now, I like the idea of different size coins. I'm completely comfortable with that, and I've always used silver-based economic systems as opposed to gold-based. I'm very happy to see that when I've been reading the second edition Pathfinder rules. I'm not done yet. I have not gotten my full thoughts on this product yet. I'm just reading at the moment. I'm reading through the spell section. But they're using a silver-based system, though they've kept the traditional D&D and Pathfinder coin metal types as platinum, gold, silver, and copper. And I think that's fine. It means that instead of a piece of something costing 30 gold pieces, it now costs 3 gold pieces, because silver is the most common coin that your average person encounters. Now, I always do gold, silver, bronze, copper, because I want there to be something between the silver and the copper. And platinum is not used at all for coinage, unless it's like, commemorative or something like that. It's used for ingots, it's used for jewelry, so you need to move a whole lot of money between point A and point B. You might be using platinum ingots. Of course, at that point, you may also be just using gems. They're even lighter and more convenient to transport large amounts of money with. So a silver coin in a fantasy setting, at least the one I'm working on in my head, would be a little bit bigger than a quarter. So imagine about the same diameter, but a little thicker. And a gold coin, again, is going to be obviously smaller than that because it's going to be much denser. Gold being much denser than silver is. And I don't know where bronze and copper fall into that density scale. I know that, I believe that copper is denser than silver, but not as dense as gold, if I remember correctly, and bronze being an alloy of copper with tin, it's probably lighter than copper because I believe tin is lighter than copper. So bronze is probably a little bit lighter than pure copper. I'm not 100% sure on that. Anybody out there who can correct me, feel free. I did not do the research. I apologize. But all of these coin thoughts just popped into my head, and I realized I haven't talked about coins in a while on my channel, so we're going to talk about coins at the moment. And I like this fantasy concept. Now, the whole idea that everything is base 10 is very convenient, but I don't think it makes a hell of a lot of sense. I think it makes a much more sense to use the decimal system. So, like, you would have, if you want to do that, it would be a silver coin and then 100 copper pennies maybe, and then the bronze coin would be, say, worth 10. You know what I mean? So something in there that would kind of make sense. But just for convenience sake, and we all need this, we don't usually pay attention to the fact that these things are decimal, and it's a method of coinage I don't believe has ever actually seen use in the real world. Correct me if I'm wrong. And we also kind of ignore the fact that, for the most part, if you take silver coins from this country and you take those silver coins to that country, they're still worth the same amount. It doesn't really work that way. There are exchanges, and there's nationalism involved and all this happy horse pucky. But it's just so much more convenient than having to worry about what is the actual precious metal weight of this and how much of that precious metal weight going to be worth over there. And, so it does cut into some economic advantages because you can't buy and sell currencies. It's harder to do. It's harder to buy, low, sell high, unless it's a specific item that you can get it cheaply at a local in a local market, and then it's going to be more expensive when it's then in another farther place that's farther away, rather, because now it's exotic kind of thing. But yeah, in the real world, manipulating currencies was a good way to make cash, and being a money changer was also a good way to make cash. And the nexus of, a banking system, essentially. So let's talk about coins. And the magic coin I mentioned, I don't have a name for it, so somebody out there want to come up with a clever name, something other than coin of cleaning, which is, quite frankly, descriptive but rather dull. Have a go, see what you can come up with. So tell me, when's the last time you saw yourself pondering coins in the shower?